Hi there and welcome to this week's vlog. And my big news, if it is big news, is that I've had a birthday. And well, it was a particularly important birthday, I guess. And when I show you one of my cards, you'll see what it was. Yes, my life has come into its 71st year. I'm 70 years old. Age is a really weird thing, isn't it? Because sometimes my body tells me that it's getting older, it can't do things it wants to do, but in my mind, I'm not old. I'm still maybe about 30. So it's a strange thing, isn't it? Age is just it's just a number. That's what people say, isn't it? 70 years old and some amazing memories. And I was reminded of that verse in the Bible in Psalm 90, which says, "The days of our years are 70. Now, score is an old way of saying 20. So 3 times 20 is 60 plus 10, 70. So at that point, 70 years old. And in our past history in the UK, there are times when 70 was a really good old age. These days, it's not seen to be a good old age. Well, it's not seen to be old age, is it? So am I old or am I not? Well, the beard is grey, the hair is grey, but I'm blessed with reasonably good health, and I thank God for that. But some people really struggle with getting older, and yet there are promises in the Bible to remind us that when we get older, God doesn't put us on a scrap heap. And there are plenty of people in the Bible who, in the older age, God used mightily. Moses, for example, Caleb, there was Anna and Simeon, who greeted Jesus as a baby in the temple when his parents brought him. Other characters throughout the Bible who were mightily used by God in their older years. And there are promises from God. For example, Isaiah 46 and verse 4, "Even to your old age and grey hairs, I am He. I am He who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you." So God has a purpose for us. I've known people who've got to an older age and think, well, I've done my bit, I can't really do any more. But no, God still wants to use us. Maybe it's through our prayers for others, our prayer support, but there are ways in which we can still be used by God in amazing ways. I've been blessed over the years by some wonderful older people who've just imparted their wisdom, who've offered their support and care. Paul himself says, "That is why we are not discouraged, though outwardly we are wearing out. Inwardly, we are being renewed day by day." So yeah, our bodies may feel like our bodies are wearing out when we get older, but we can still be renewed inwardly, renewed in our spirit. We can be young in spirit, even if we're old physically or older. And remember also Paul says, "I am certain that God, who began the good work in you, will continue his work until it is finally finished on the day when Christ Jesus returns." So God is continually working in us to accomplish his purpose, to mold us and shape us to be more like Jesus. Sue and I visited a friend a few days ago who had the really desperately sad experience of losing her son, who was only in his early 50s. So not everybody gets to what we might call the older years. Life is very precious. God holds our lives in his hand. We don't know when. We know when it began, but we don't know when it's going to, or our life on earth is going to come to an end. So how do we use the time that we've got? Let's value every day. I rejoice in the 70 years that God has given me. God has blessed me enormously in many ways. Life's not always been easy, it isn't for any of us. But I've known God's hand upon my life. And I know that he's walked with me through the good times and the tough times. And yeah, I'm 70 now. I don't know how much longer I've got on planet Earth, but I want to continue to walk with God. I want to continue to seek to make the most of every opportunity, to rejoice and celebrate every new day that God gives us. So there's just a few thoughts. If you you may be a young person, you may be middle-aged, you may be what society regards as from the older generation, but wherever you are, remember that you're precious to God. You're never too young, never too old to be used by God. He loves you intimately. He wants to walk with you and guide you in his ways. And we know that whenever this earthly life comes to an end for us, if our trust is in Jesus Christ, then we have a new beginning in God's eternal kingdom, that wonderful place, free from pain and sadness and sorrow and tears. So God bless you from this 70-year-old gentleman. Thanks so much for listening.